eating this makes you gain 2 pounds in just 2 weeks. So do you think I'm talking about ultra-processed food or unprocessed food? Yeah, you can probably guess it's the ultra-processed. But why? What was found? So this was a very good study that looked at a group of people, and what they did was they ate in a certain fashion for 2 weeks, and then they flipped the groups, and they didn't know which people were doing which, so it was what's called a randomized control trial, and that's considered the best type of study that you have. So what occurred was that people were in what's called a metabolic ward, so you can't leave, and they have you exercise so that you're not just sitting in a hospital bed all day long. So everybody had sort of the same level of exercise they had to do. But when it came to the food offered them, it was very, very different. So a group for 2 weeks got the ultra-processed food, and then the other half was on the unprocessed, and then they flipped. So everybody got the 2 weeks. And what they found with the ultra-processed food, and what we're talking there as a definition is industrial manufactured food. So we're talking about the seed oils and hydrogenated oils and high fructose corn syrup and emulsifiers, all, what actually close to 70% of Americans consume as their caloric intake in a day is ultra-processed food, ultra-processed calories. So that's what they were offered. So what were they offered? They were offered French fries and potato chips and sugary dips and processed meats. So that's what they were offered in the ultra-processed group. And then the unprocessed group had real food. So they had a wide array from fruits and vegetables and whole grains, and they had dairy, they had eggs, they had meat, they had fish, they had eggs. I said that. So real food, okay? There was nothing processed allowed. But what they were offered had the same ability to have the same calories, the same protein, etc. It's just what people chose, because they could choose whatever they liked. They had a full hour to eat the meal, and again, there was no restrictions. You could eat as much or as little as you liked. But what they found was that the ultra-processed group literally ate 500 calories more in a day. So if you take that times 7 times 5 is 3,500 calories in a week will cause you to gain a pound. That's a pound. And so, of course, if you do that every week, you'll gain 52 pounds in a year, and on it goes. But that's what they found. And what the contributors who were part of the study, the patients, said was that they found they weren't satisfied by the ultra-processed food, and they kind of knew they were eating more, but they just weren't satisfied by the meal. And that's going to lead us into the second study, that in a moment. So they ate faster because they were trying to get satisfied, but they weren't. And they ended up eating 500 calories a day more. So when they were on the ultra-processed food side of the study for 2 weeks, they gained 2 pounds in 2 weeks. But then when they switched to the unprocessed food, they lost 2 pounds in 2 weeks. And remember, half of the people went first on the unprocessed, and the other half was the second leg of their adventure was the unprocessed. But it didn't matter whether it came first or second. They gained it with the ultra-processed, they lost it with the unprocessed. So very interesting. But so you say, okay, I know this, I know unprocessed, ultra-processed food is not great for me. I should eat real food, but I really like the ultra-processed, it tastes better, et cetera, et cetera. And I get that. But I think, understanding the why can really help sometimes, because we have this issue with visceral fat. So that's the belly fat, right? Your fat around your midsection. And this infiltrates, it surrounds your organs. It really sets you up for disease. Now, if you don't care about that, fine, no worries. But if you really are vested in getting healthier and really enjoying life for a long time, then this is important. And I think, when you understand the why, not just bad, good, it's like, okay, fine. But if you understand the why, then, you can make better decisions, and then you get on a good path. So that's my hope for you. So the other study looked at what's called a protein leverage hypothesis. And it's simply that the human body needs a certain amount of protein. It needs a certain amount of nutrients. We call those micronutrients. So when you get into vitamins and minerals, those are the micro because they're small amounts. And then there's the macronutrients of how much protein, carb, and fat you need. But this hypothesis, and the study here was done in 2005. It was also a randomized controlled trial, and they did it on adolescents. And basically what they found is that when you're in the ultra-processed food mode, the reason you eat more and faster is because you have this sort of internal clock, if you will, or internal measurement that goes, not enough protein, nope, not enough, not enough, not enough, you don't have enough magnesium, you don't have enough this, that, it's measuring it, you're not aware of it, but that's why you're eating more and more, because it's like, I don't have enough of the good stuff yet. And maybe you've felt that. Raise your hand. Have you felt that when you ate ultra-processed food where it was just so easy? It's kind of the joke about the bag of chips, right? You open the bag and, oh look, that was the last chip. I ate the whole bag. I ate all of those cookies. How did that happen? Because they're nothing. They're full of calories and they're full of junk and chemicals, but there's nothing substantive about them. So the key here is that when you're eating the real unprocessed food, your body goes, yep, okay, yeah, I like that, and I've had enough, thank you. Which is what you want, right? You want to eat this, you want food to really be fuel, not just calories. So it's fuel for your cells, you start feeling good, when you've had enough, versus this mindless eating that just comes about because it's like, you didn't get enough of anything substantive. Like, show me some real food here. Show me some real nutrients. And that's what you don't get in the ultra processed. It's very insidious. So what I'm hoping is that this gets the point across, but also just gets the knowledge across so that you can be empowered to say, okay, I'm going to do it, for 2 full weeks. I'm just going to go with the unprocessed. And every time I want the candy, I'm gonna eat a date, I'm gonna have some nuts and a date. I'm gonna have real food, it's not like you can't have any sweet taste. There's berries in season, it's summer right now as I'm filming this, but we're lucky in the United States, there's always a lot of different variety of fruit available to us. And enjoy the sweet that way, and just and try it and see, because if we can get this visceral fat, the fat around the abdomen, the belly fat under control, and get obesity under control, you're going to have such a healthier life, and you're going to enjoy, which is what I want for you. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this. Please send me a comment. I want to hear from you. Do this experiment and tell me where you are. I got a comment the other day, and somebody said, oh gosh, you've just told me to not eat everything that I eat. And I get it. So, it's a process. It's a step-by-step process, but I love hearing from you. I answer all my comments, and consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll talk to you soon.